All right. After our first section, safety, this is our second most important thing we do in children's ministry, and that's courtesy. We want to be courteous. If we keep children safe, the next most important thing is that we're courteous to the children and their parents. And the reason being, if we're not keeping children safe, and it's not a safe environment, people aren't going to come back. And then if it's not a friendly environment, people aren't going to come back. They're going to go find somewhere that is friendly. And we do both of these things to ensure that children are going to come over and over and over again, week in and week out, and we're going to be able to teach them about Jesus through all of our curriculum and by sharing the gospel with them. And so courtesy is important. And the first thing I want, and you'll get a paper copy of this, is that we want to project a positive image and energy. We want to smile and look approachable. We want to be happy and interested in our families, and we want to have positive conversations. Now, I'm not always perfect at this, and some of you probably will agree with that about your own selves, but we want to make sure when people are entering this church that they feel like this is a friendly place. Even if we've had the worst day at home coming to church, like I'll just be honest, and my wife can tell you, Sunday's the day that the Lord, we want to go and worship the Lord, that everything seems to go wrong. Kids go crazy, my wife goes crazy, or I go crazy. It's horrible at home right before we go to church, and then you're supposed to come to church and put a smile on your face and be happy. But we need to, and we need to out of love for each other, and we need to be able to build each other up and be encouraging to one another, and we need to be able to leave all those crazy things in the world that are just making our life out of sorts, leave them at the door when we come here, because we're coming here to serve our Savior Jesus Christ through the way that we love children and their parents and the families here in Foreverland. So what we need to do is we need to smile and look approachable. We need to be happy. Whether or not we're happy at home, whether or not we're happy about work, whether or not happy at anything, we need to be happy when we come here so that people feel this is a warm, inviting place where they can learn about Jesus. And we want to be interested in our families. And I want to encourage you, when children come to your room, greet the child first. Now, I know this may seem awkward at times, but I make it a point that I want to greet children before I greet the parents. I have a lot of dads will stick their hand out, and I won't acknowledge them necessarily before I acknowledge their children, or I'll shake their hand while I'm saying hi to their children, and then I'll look up and say hi to them. I want them to know, as a pastor who's working with their children, that I'm their children's pastor, and I'm here to serve their children, just as you as volunteers are here ultimately to serve those children and teach them the gospel while you're serving their parents and allowing them to go to service. So if you could join me in greeting children first, don't neglect parents, but make sure that they see that how important and how we prioritize children and the relationships that we're building with them. As part of our positive image and energy, it is important to wear the smocks provided for you. I know some of you hate the smocks, but as we've investigated, as we've talked to our churches, there's a huge benefit to uniformity, and wearing the smocks allows our visitors, our families, to know who works in children's ministry. If they have questions, if they have answers, if they want answers, if they need to express concerns, it tells them who is a worker. So we need you to wear the smocks. Now, in this year, we're going to give you one other option. We're going to give you an option to wear a smock or a t-shirt. We'll have smocks in the nursery. We also have the Hawaiian shirts in preschool, and this year we'll be adding Hawaiian shirts to elementary. But we're gonna have an option of a t-shirt or a smock, and we need you to wear those. And we're going to go to the point where if we're not wearing those that are provided, then we're not going to be able to have people serve, because it's going to be important that we have this sense of uniformity and that people are all bought into unified vision. And I want, for when visitors come to our church, we have a lot of visitors. Some weeks we have 25 visitors that come. Children that are visitors that are coming to visit our church. We need to be a place where visitors can come in and feel safe and secure, where people are friendly, but also when they look around, they know what's going on. They know who's the volunteers, they know who's serving, because it's easy to tell by what people are wearing. And I know some of you like to dress up for church. That's why we have the smocks. Something you can throw on over your outfit for the day. We wash the smocks every week if you put them in the hampers, and they'll be there for you the next week. But it's really important, and I know it's hard to do that. I actually like the Hawaiian shirts, so it's not that big of a deal for me. But if you'd rather have a t-shirt that you could that you could throw on at home and wear at church, we can make that available for you as well. We'll have a choice of either or, and the t-shirt will have the color scheme of our smocks, and we'll have a logo for the area that you're serving in, whether it's Creation Cove, Discovery Point, or the rainforest. Next is, after our positive image and energy, is I will be courteous and respectful to all guests, especially children. Again, we want eye contact with children. We want to greet each guest by name, thank them, and invite them back. If you know a child's name, use it. Look at them. Get down on their level. There's nothing better than having a 3-year-old child coming down and say, "Hi, Carly, how are you doing this morning?" And it's important for parents. I love when people do it to my children. It makes me feel like those people value my children and the relationships that they're building with them. And so we want to make sure that we're also doing that to other children. You may not know every child's name, but go ahead and greet them anyways and ask them their name, and then use it in the course of the conversation when you first meet them and make them feel special. We want new guests to even feel extra special. We want you to introduce them to the class. We want you to make their experience a great one. Obviously, from our tags, we showed you our tags, but our new visitors get a hand-printed tag. There's a reason that we do that, not because we don't want to put them in the system. We took them out of the system. We used to do that. But for 3 weeks, the first 3 weeks that a child comes to our church, they get a handwritten tag. And that's so you know that they're visitors, that you know it's within their first 3 times visiting church. And we want you to go out of your way to make them feel like this church can not only is a fun place they can learn about Jesus, but it can be a church home for them as a child. And we've had a great success rate retaining visitors, and we believe it's because you as volunteers are making them feel special and unique, and you're using the name. So if you see a handwritten tag, it is a visitor coming to our church, and we want you to go out of the way to make them feel special and include them in part of your class, and to really make their family, when they pick them up and drop them off, also be welcome at our church. If a child comes in your classroom with a handwritten tag, make sure that you greet the parents. You thank them for coming. You ask them how they're doing. If there's anything you can help them with, make them just go the extra mile, and it'll make dividends for the kingdom as these families continue to come here and hear about Jesus. Next, after being courteous and respectful, we want you to go above and beyond. Excuse me. We want you to listen to concerns that people have. We want you to answer their questions. We want you to, if you don't know the answer, go get someone who does know the answer. Well, maybe it's one of our children's ministry staff. Maybe it's myself. If someone's coming in and talking to you or asking questions about children's ministry or events, take the time and answer their questions, and be able to provide immediate assistance to them. And our new visitors all get welcome boxes. The first time they come, they get the box. It has information, has some gifts in it, has a coloring book. But if you see that someone carrying a little like Gable box around, you also know that they're a new visitor. And we want to make sure that we go above and beyond as a children's ministry to make children feel like this is an exciting place that's fun. The walls are neat, and it engages their imagination. And then when they come into the classrooms, we can share the gospel and engage their heart through the teachings that we're sharing with them. We also, just so you're aware, we send postcards for all birthdays, and we send get well postcards as well. So if you know a child is sick or has broken an arm or has something wrong, if you make that aware to us as a children's ministry staff, you can email us, you can let us know and say more. We'll send a get well card to them. And I know that our kids come just about every other week, have someone come and thanking me for a birthday card or a get well card. And it means the world when a child's homesick and they get a get well card from their church and from their animal in their classroom. We also send a lot of welcome letters and cards to families, and that's important to us to continue to connect with them. And we send stuff out at holidays. And if you have any other questions, you can communicate with Kelly. Anything such as a new baby or any engagements or anniversaries, any of those type of things that are going on in your life or the life of some of our families. If you let us know, we want to celebrate with not only our families, we want to celebrate with you as volunteers and share those things even through our newsletter to celebrate with you.